I'm Low Poly Wild, soon to be changed name. I have a whole list of different names I'm considering. My top one is Animosaic or Polyzoo, I don't know. But for the time being, Low Poly Wild. And you're gonna get ready with me whilst I talk about art and some of the things I learned along this beautiful, beautiful journey. So let's do it. So let's go back to where I started. Why did I start doing animal portraits? How did it come about? So Low Poly Wild started completely by accident. I actually started doing this as during like a burnout phase of a different art phase that I had before. Before I started animal portraits, I was actually doing realism butterflies, which you can actually see a couple here. That was my main thing that I really wanted to do, but I burnt out heavily from it because I was kind of in that state where I was forcing myself to make butterflies, not because I wanted to, but more because I wanted to turn it into a career as quickly as I possibly could. And that's one thing that I really learned, is if you go into making art with the mindset of making money rather than actually enjoying it, it kills a massive part of the love that you have for art, because you need to, like with anything you do, not even just art, but you need to love the process more than the actual outcome. And I was very outcome focused. So it was like 6 months into doing this thing, because I just got freshly out of uni. I just moved out and renting my first flat, and I was just like, okay, I need to graft. But as I'm like grafting through this, I'm like, I hate every single thing I'm doing. I'm forcing myself to make art when I don't want to. And I was just burnt out, and I was like, okay, fuck this, I'm not gonna do it. I'm just gonna not stop it, but take a break. For as long as I need, I'm gonna take a break. And during that time, like, art is something I always enjoy, and it's always something I come back to, like as a form of relieving stress and stuff. So during that time, I started making the thing that I actually decided to stick with, which is low poly animal portraits. And I started that also kind of by accident, because during this breakdown that I have a background in tattooing, and I went back home to Poland for Christmas, and my sister-in-law asked if I could do a tattoo for her, and it was this geometric style deer, I think. It was an animal. And at that point, because I was just like, okay, this art thing is clearly not working, I was like, maybe I should go back into tattooing. And then I did that tattoo, and I was like, oh, that was actually really, really fun. Let me see if I can maybe design something along the lines of this, and maybe that'll be like my tattoo style. And I watched some video tutorials on YouTube, and it showed like how to make like a coloured version of it, and I made my first one, which was also a deer, and I was like, oh my god, this is actually really, really fun. Like, it has been extremely hard, even with my butterflies, but with anything really, to get into a flow state. And making these geometric low poly portraits, like animal portraits, really got me into a flow state. I was like, this is really fun, I'm gonna do a bit more of it. And I just did it for fun. I tried to get back into butterflies again, but it just wasn't sticking. And then around 2 months after that, so this is now in like beginning of March 2025, I was like, I need to reconnect with my creative juices. So I decided to follow the Artist's Way, which is like a 12-week course book that basically gets you to reconnect with your creative juices. And on like the second or third week, something just told me, make a video about just showing your art. Because I accumulated quite a bit at this point. Like, I'm still doing them. I think I had like, I don't know, 6 or 7 or something like that. And I was like, I really like them. So I was like, I'm just gonna post it. And then I just kind of wanted to post more. And I was like, okay, you know what? I'm just gonna do it as like a daily thing, because I actually really, really enjoy making these. Whether I get views from it or not, I'm just gonna keep doing it. And then it kind of just went from there. I just kind of stuck with it, and I was like, maybe this is my thing. I think this is my thing. So yeah, sorry, I probably could have made that story a lot shorter, but came by accident. And I think I sometimes feel really weird about my art. I think like in terms of like interviews and like talking about interviews, like a common question for artists is just like, oh, what is the inspiration behind your art? What's the thing that like motivates you to make art? What's the meaning behind it? There is absolutely no meaning behind my art. Absolutely nothing. I just make art because I want to make art, because I find it enjoyable, and I just like doing them. There's nothing there. It's more of a thing that it's like, it really is for the interpretation of others, because I make it more also for other people. Like, the only form of inspiration I guess that I have is like, I don't know, making people's favorite animals, and like for people's reaction well, I'm making it seem like it's like other people, like focused on like other people, that's not what I mean, but like if I make like pets, it's just like, oh, how cool it would be if I make the pet that most people have, and then they can have something that they relate to, you know, sort of thing. That's the only thing. It's just like, I don't know, their reactions, but it's really not focused on anything. I just like the outcome of it. And yeah, that's basically about it. I really wish I had a lot more to say, but there really isn't. There really isn't. I don't think art has to have much meaning. I mean, it's great if it does. I think it makes it a little bit more interesting, but it's not necessary. I think my biggest goal at the moment with my art, I mean, it's still very, very fresh at the moment, but I think my biggest goals would be, there's a lot of things I want to do. I would love to be part of a gallery at some point, I think, or like to host an exhibition at some point. I would love to do that. I would love to collaborate with other people, and I'd love to work with a brand to help to make a design for something. That I think would be the coolest thing ever. But I think it's primarily like also like finding a community, maybe. I'm not sure. But the main aim is to be able to do this as like my full-time job. That is like my biggest dream, is to literally, I can literally make those animal portraits all the time. And I think that's what makes me love the thing that I do, is because of the fact that there's no meaning behind it, and I don't need to be in some sort of specific mental space to make the art that I make. I can just do it all the time, and I love that. Like, I want to be able to do this all the time. That is my absolute dream. And to just, yeah, to work with people, to connect with people through my art, and yeah, I think that'll be really, really cool. And yeah, I'm trying to think what else to talk about. I'm not sure. Maybe some advice that I would give for people who want to become artists. Savor your relationship with your art with your life. Savor it with your life. Kind of what I mentioned earlier, nothing takes away the joy of making art than being result focused, but also neglecting how you feel about your art and your own personal feelings because of, you know, wanting to meet deadlines and wanting to do this and wanting to do that. Like the amount of times I forced myself to do art when I didn't want to, because I'm like, no, I can't, like, I need to graft, I need to produce all these pieces and stuff. And I think there's a lot of pressure as well. Like, I used to think this a lot. There's just like, if you want to be a good artist, you need to sketch every single day. You need to sketch as much as you can, and that's what will make you a good artist. And yes, of course, having a lot of practice and practicing your craft and dedicating like hours and hours and hours into your craft obviously will make you a better artist. But I think when it's at the state that it's just like you force yourself to make art, it takes away the biggest thing of art, which is the kind of like emotional connection that you have with it, and the feelings that you gain from it. So it's like when I would do like butterflies, I would force myself to sketch as much as I could, but it would just make me grow to hate what I do more. Like, I would just hate it. I think like hustle culture makes it a lot worse, that it's just like, oh, if you're not grafting all the time, you're behind and you're not a good artist and you're not good at this and stuff like that. Not even just with art, just anything. So listen to yourself a bit more and don't force yourself to make art when you don't want to, because forced art is not good art. There's a difference between pushing yourself out of your comfort zone and forcing yourself to do things that you don't want to. Listen to your gut and listen to what it needs. If you need like 2 weeks break from your craft, do it. If you want to try something else, do it. Listen to your gut, and yeah, just don't force yourself to do anything. That's the biggest thing. Don't force yourself to do anything. And I think having time away from social media also makes it quite important. Like, a thing with me, I don't know whether it's just because there isn't many, or just because I haven't actually actively looked for them. I'm sure that there is, but I don't look at other low poly artists or other artists that make art in the same way that I do, because I know as a person I have quite low self-esteem and I already am very self-critical of myself. So I don't look at other artists that make similar art to me, because then I get extremely self-conscious and it kills my relationship that I have with my art, which I really, really want to savor. So yeah, do what you need to. Do what you need to. There's no right or wrong way to go about art, and sometimes it's a lot easier said than done, but there really isn't. And I think people forget a lot of the time that it's like, art is meant to be enjoyable. You're supposed to enjoy what you do, and if you do it in a certain way doesn't make you enjoy it, then don't do it. I think that's a lot. I felt that a lot when I took my art to social media to try and promote it, because I think there's a lot of pressure with the only way to get your art out there is through promoting it on social media. And yes, that's the most common way and probably like the most accessible way, But also with that, I think there is a very common way of filming your videos to like present it a certain way, like a specific way to present your content. There needs to be like heavy editing, and there needs to be like a hook at the beginning to like catch their attention and stuff like that. And I'm just like, I can't be asked to do that. I don't want to do that. I also feel like it's so heavily like marketing focused that it's just like, I kind of feel like a fraud, and I feel like I don't want to turn my art into something that it isn't. That's why I keep my videos very, very simple, and the way that I actually enjoy it is I just vibe to the music and reveal the art piece on a beat drop. That's literally it. I used to think that there needed to be loads of videos about like, you know, voiceover and like cool editing and montage and like a deep story in the voiceover and so much like meaning to what I post. There really doesn't, and don't force yourself to do stuff that you don't correlate to. If that's the type of stuff that you love doing and like love making videos about, stick with it. Absolutely stick with it. But me forcing to make content I did not like also killed my love for art and made me more disconnected from it. So stick what's true to you, and yeah, just really focus on the process of it, because it will make the whole journey of making art and becoming an artist, because unfortunately most of the time it is quite a slow process. Like it's the aspect of like building an audience and building kind of like an image for yourself, and that takes time. So make sure you enjoy the time whilst you get up there, because what's the point in doing it if you don't enjoy it? It will just make it a lot harder, and you're more likely to quit if you don't enjoy it. So allow to give yourself time, and if you're in that state where it's just like, well, I have no idea what my thing is, I have no idea what that is, 2 things I would recommend. 1, sit in your room or sit somewhere and just like listen to your gut. Not even like your gut, just like, okay, what's drawing to me? What's drawing to me? And it might be the randomest thing ever. Like, it'll be like the blind. Okay, what's with the blind? And then it might be, oh, I'm actually into printing. Oh, maybe I'm actually into pattern making. You know, stuff like that. Just allow yourself to be like quiet and then see what you're drawn to. But secondly, write a list of all of the things that you enjoy. And I mean everything, not even art related. Like, I'm talking sleep, food, walking, I don't know, whatever. Write everything that you like and see if there's any way that you can combine multiple like of those things that you like into one, because that's how I came up with my butterflies. And even though it didn't stick, it's still something that I thought was going to be my thing for a while, so, and like I still enjoyed. So yeah, go back to what you like and what you enjoy. Some of the hardest things that I had to deal with as an artist, that's a weird one. I think it's a little bit hard for me to say because I really haven't been doing this for that long, but I think sometimes, as much as I love what I do, sometimes it feels very repetitive. If I do it like too often, sometimes it feels a little bit repetitive. But also, when like some like my pieces blow up, it's also discouraging when people leave like hate comments. I think like there are, most of the time I'm strong enough to be like, bitch, shut up, you know? But sometimes it does get to you, and like the couple of times that I'll find an artist that does something very, very similar to me, but just feel like it's on a much more advanced level, like it is very intimidating. And like, yeah, being surrounded in a room by like so many artists, it's hard not to feel extremely intimidated by others. But I think I've just grown to love my art so much and enjoy what I do so much that it's a lot easier for me to just kind of not be as bothered by it anymore, and I'm really, really grateful for that. And yeah, I think that's kind of like the primary things, really. Like, when you like what you do, it makes it so easy. So if you don't enjoy what you do, or you're finding it hard to connect with your art, firstly, I recommend the artist way. I'm still in the middle of doing my artist way, and it really, really, really helps get down to all of the triggers and the things that are subconsciously playing on your mind that could be affecting your art, but also reconnecting with your art in a different way that you probably wouldn't expect. So firstly, do the artist way. Secondly, think whether your art is you focused or other people focused, because I realize when my art is other people focused, I hate it more. I know it's sometimes hard to do the art that you like because you feel like, I don't know, you're not skilled enough, or there's other people that do better than you, or that it's just not going to be recognized the way that you want it to. You would be surprised. You would be surprised the type of shit that people really, really enjoy. I promise you. And like, to be honest, I don't think people would enjoy my art as much if it wasn't for the personality that came with how I show my art, I think. So that's also another thing. The only thing that people enjoy doesn't have to be just your art, but it can be the thing that you bring with it. Not necessarily the meaning, but a lot of the time can be the meaning behind your art, but also, yeah, just the way you present it, the process that they go through when they explore your art for the first time, which is why I love making videos about it, because they get to experience it in a nice funky way, because I bring a lot of energy and I just vibe to music whilst I show my art, and it just kind of conveys that message onto others that they should feel that way too. You know what I mean? But also take some time away from your art if you feel a bit disconnected from it, because it'll give you a bit of room and clarity to realize what things you like about it and what you don't. And also another note, you don't have to show your art on social media to be a successful artist. It makes it a bit easier and gets things going a little bit quicker, but that doesn't mean you have to. There's so many other ways you can go about it that loads of people prefer, and I've also just have become equally successful in. So yeah, I think I said everything I need to. This is the final look. This is how I shall be showing up to work later. I wish I was at that state where I can make art my full-time job and I just get ready to sketch and paint the whole day, but we're not quite there yet. But we will. We will. I can't wait. My life is going to be so great. It's going to be beautiful and exciting. And yeah, so I hope this gave some insight. It is I didn't even say the date. It's the 2nd of April 2020, no, 3rd of April 2025. I've been sketching officially for the last like 2 weeks. I feel good about it. I feel excited. I feel a bit differently about this, and that's what's making me so optimistic and hopeful about it, and I cannot wait for the day that I become a successful artist and get recognized for it. I'm really excited, but until then, I will see you in my next video.